We have some wonderfully comfortable seats that were just put out. Please use those. Anyone standing will be part of the chorus.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here on this Saturday, September 11th, this very important event. A couple of housekeeping points to make today. As you spend time here, if you need to use facilities that are through the front of the building, we ask that anybody on campus that is unvaccinated or within 6 feet to utilize one of the masks that are here. And also a hand filling to the area. We ask that if you have an emergency, please let us know immediately. We have a local first responder team on any needs like that. My name is Jeff Pelkey. I'm the chaplain for the City of Portsmouth. And I am blessed to serve as the pastor of the First Congregational Church right here in North Berwick. And it is wonderful to look out amongst us and see a large contingent of the North Berwick congregation here. It's wonderful. It is also a blessing to look out and see such a cross-section of people from our county, representing so many communities, representing so many faith organizations, so many aspects of our county, local, and state government. Thank you all for taking your time to come to this place today to honor such an important event 20 years later. We have a wonderful cast here to pull this off. Sheriff King has done yeoman's work preparing today's events and amassed a wonderful group of caring first responders to support today's events. I
I'll let them speak more to that.
At this time, for those of you that are able, if you could rise and pay respect to our flag.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Folks, you may be seated. As you can see, duty never rests. Lost and helpless by a rescue from the line. Thank you for this. Let's bow our heads and pray for God's blessing. O God, our hope and refuge, in our distress we come quickly to you. Shock and horror of that tragic day have subsided, replaced now with emptiness, a longing for an innocence lost. We come remembering those who lost their lives in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. We are mindful of the sacrifice of public servants who demonstrated the greatest love of all by laying down their lives for friends. We commit their souls to your eternal care and celebrate their gifts to a fallen humanity. We come remembering and come in hope, not in ourselves, but in you, Lord. Our foundations we once thought secure have been shaken. We are reminded of the illusion of security. In commemorating this tragedy, we give you thanks for your presence in our time of need. And we seek to worship you in spirit and in truth, our guide and our guardian. Amen. I'd like at this time to offer our attention and welcome to the podium the Sheriff of York County, Bill King.
Thank you all for being here. I'm humbled with the response that we got. And thank you very much for fitting this in your schedule. It's so important. I want to recognize Pastor Jeff Elke, who's the chaplain of the Portsmouth, New Hampshire Police Department, who was key to organizing this tribute to our fallen heroes. Also, Elias, thank you for singing our national anthem. George for the accompaniment. Marine John Flagler, Coast Guard Bud Jameson, and Commander Lee Steele of American Legion Post 134, below in the club. You're going to hear some other, also all the other participants, thank you. Who you won't see are the Girl Scouts of Girl Scout Troop 795 from South Florida. So they'll be up in the bell tower and they'll be tolling the bell. 20 years ago, the infamous 9/11 terrorist attack sent waves of grief, fear, and determination across the nation and the globe. I'm still asking, how could this happen to us? Governments and police grappled with this brazen attack that now claimed the lives of 2,996 Americans. And this occurred on American soil. It's still unfathomable. Despite our shared grief in the aftermath of 9/11, hope, resilience, and unity lifted us up as a nation. 20 years later, these lessons are more important than ever. The 9/11 attack spawned a new wave of patriotism and love of our country. That devastating act knocked us down, but it did not knock us out. We came back stronger than ever, and we have shown the world that we're a beacon of healing, renewal, and strength. Today continues to bring back traumatic memories, not just for those personally affected, like firefighter David Shane, who's in the front row, and his spouse Mary Shane, who were working that fateful day in Lower Manhattan. David was a first responder to the North Tower at 8:36, and Mary was an ER nurse working in a hospital in Lower Manhattan. But it affects all of us who were glued to the television in disbelief. We continue to commemorate this day to comfort each other, to strengthen our resolve, and to keep our homeland safe, and to honor those who were killed in this cowardly act. Thank you so much for attending this remembrance service.
Thank you, Sheriff, for those wonderful remarks and your guidance throughout this whole event. On this day 20 years ago, 246 people went to sleep in preparation for their morning flights. 2,606 people went to sleep in preparation for work in the morning tomorrow. 343 firefighters went to sleep in preparation for their morning shift. 60 police officers went to sleep in preparation for morning patrol. 8 paramedics went to sleep in preparation for the morning shift of saving lives. None of them saw past 10 a.m. on September 11, 2001. In one single moment, life may never be the same as you live and enjoy the breaths you take today. And tonight, before you go to sleep, in preparation for your life tomorrow, kiss the ones you love, snuggle them a little tighter, and never take 1 second of your life for granted. In the public safety sector, we rely on tradition. And one tradition for remembering the lost is the tolling of the bell. And so I'd ask you to offer your attention to the bell tolling this morning. On this date, 20 years ago, our country was brought to poor. Our world and the lives of so many in it were forever changed. The 4 solemn tolls of the bell we just heard represent that at 8:46 a.m., hijackers deliberately crashed American Airlines Flight 11 into floors 93 through 99 of the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:03, hijackers deliberately crashed United Flight 175 into floors 77 to 85 of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:37 a.m., hijackers deliberately crashed American Airlines Flight 77 into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. And at 9:59, the South Tower collapsed. May those 4 tolls of the bell symbolize our love and eternal remembrance of those lost that day, the days immediately following the cowardly terrorist attack on our country. On September 11, 2001, after the planes hit the World Trade Center, Father Michael Judge ran into the North Tower alongside the firemen that he served. Soon after that time, he was reported as the first victim of the terrorist attacks on his country. Extremely proud of his Irish heritage, Robert Emmett Judge was born in Brooklyn on May 11, 1933, to 2 Irish immigrants. At the age of 16, he answered his calling to the Franciscan vocation, aged and entered St. Joseph's Seminary in New York, where he was received into the Franciscan order on August 11, 1954. In 1957, he graduated from St. Bonaventure University, a Franciscan school near Olean, New York. He was ordained into the priesthood on February 25th, 1961. After taking the vow of poverty, Judge became committed to helping impoverished New Yorkers and those in minority groups such as gays, homeless, immigrants, and AIDS sufferers. 1,200 people took part in New York's Father Michael Judge Walk of Remembrance. 1,200 people. A fellow friar at St. Francis of Assisi, Father Patrick Pesquero, first met Judge during their formative years in Franciscan order. Their friendship began on September 11th, 1951. Exactly 50 years to the day the Judge lost his life in the terrorist attacks. He was very good to a lot of people, Fitzgerald recalls. He was selfless. When people would give him gifts at Christmas time, he would write them the nicest letters and then bring them down to the aid stations in Daly House on Christmas Street. They wound up with the nicest sweater, scarves, and even Irish hats. He knew the details of his mother and father's immigration and traveled to Ireland many times. A recovering alcoholic, Father Judge celebrated his 23rd year of sobriety in 2001. No stranger to addiction, he instilled courage in the many lives he touched. A lot of young men whom he helped get into sobriety will tell you he was Father Mike. He really mirrored for a lot of men the greatest image of a father, said Brian Carroll, a former Franciscan friar and colleague of Judge. David Fulham, a retired lieutenant in the FDNY, formerly stationed at Ladder 24, where Judge was a chaplain, has fond memories of the Irish American. He married me and my wife, Linda. He baptized my daughter, Shannon, and blessed my wife when she was pregnant with our second child, Fulham told the Irish Journal. Even when I asked him to marry us a year in advance, he said, I cannot do it. I have a funeral that day. I was really disappointed before he stopped me and said, Dave, it's a year away. I don't know what I'll be doing. Of course I will marry you. I was overjoyed by the family requirement. After receiving minor burns on the jaw, Fulham was admitted to the hospital late one night and was surprised when Judge appeared up in the early hours of the morning at his bedside. I was just amazed he showed up. You don't expect people to visit you after midnight. He sat and spent some time with me, just making sure that I was okay. He apologized to me for not bringing wool socks, for whenever you visit a firefighter, they always had wet feet, as their boots were soaked, Fulham explained. When the news came the Judge had lost his life in the terrorist attacks, Fulham raced to the firehouse on 31st Street, where Judge's body was temporarily laid out in a makeshift shrine. When we got the news that afternoon we weren't that far away. They had laid him out in the firehouse temporarily for the calls. He is the only one that had an open casket funeral. I was happy. I was able to kiss his hands. I think he knew that God had taken him for a reason. So he was there. My friends, so many responders that day were there for everyone else. Sheriff King introduced David Shane and his wonderful wife Mary this morning, who are residents right here in our community. David Shane was there that day for everyone else. His wife was there at St. Vincent's Hospital that day for everyone else. David was a short distance away on that fateful day, taking a refresher course in EMS as a member of New York City Fire Department's Emergency Medical Services when it was heard the first tower was struck. He, with several of his companions and workmates, grabbed all of the supplies that they could because they knew they would need them, got into a waiting ambulance, and drove to the scene. Not away from the scene like so many others were doing, but driving towards the danger as they had done so many times before for so many other people for so many years. He and his fellow EMS providers arrived on scene just 6 minutes prior to the second plane striking the second tower. And he recalled to me that he could feel and hear the thrust of the plane as the pilot positioned that plane almost skillfully, the very worst outcome for everyone in that building. After the second strike, after the second plane hit, he and thousands of others ran from the scene to avoid the aftermath, ending up in Battery Park. They hopscotched from vehicle to vehicle, trying to take cover to get there. And once there, they didn't get on to the flurry of boats crossing the river to safety. They turned and returned to the scene. They again made the conscious effort not to leave to safety, turn to the danger that awaited them. American people forever changed, and at that moment, his wife and nurse at the local hospital for the next 3 days was unsure if David was dead or alive, because he was listed in the missing and possibly dead list. But there he was, working hour after hour to do anything they could to help anyone they could. Hopeless. As if what they had endured wasn't enough, he continued to work that tragic place, searching the rubble, sifting through the debris, not for days, not for weeks, but over 8 months, day in and day out. What all the rescue workers, including David, saw that day would irreparably change their lives. What they saw in the months to follow should never, ever be seen by human eyes and can never be erased from your mind. Those images etched in their minds are also etched in their heart. And here, 20 years later, those images are still fresh. Now, coupled with severe medical challenges, he copes with the images, copes with the medical challenge. And worst of all, he copes with the system. It requires him to struggle to get the benefits he and thousands of others like him deserve. So my friends, as you leave this place today, go to your family. Go to your friends. Go to those you love and care about you. And remember that although this terrible tragedy took place 20 years ago, and we're not seeing it continually replayed on the television, that there are people in our lives that have it replayed just as if it were yesterday. There are people that struggle daily and hourly with the fallout from this tragedy. And although many have come a long way, there are so many who deserve our love and support for the next 20, 30, 40 years, and forever. There are families that gave everything that day and that continue to struggle, not just with the events of the day-to-day, but the aftermath that has been created in their lives. So today, let us rededicate ourselves to lifting up the memory of so many that gave so much that day and the many years following. Moreover, let us rededicate ourselves to those who continue to fight the fight every single day in all parts of our amazing country. Let us rededicate ourselves to remembering, loving, helping those that stepped up to help when it was needed most. And truly never forget the sacrifices that were made and continue to be made every day in this great nation. David and Mary Shane, please join me at the podium. My friends, for all you have given and continue to give, simple flowers don't merely seem enough. But know that when you leave this place today, each of these petals represents the love and good thoughts and caring of each of the people here and the thoughts of a grateful nation to each of you. So Mary, take these as a beautiful memory of your time here today. And David, take away our love and our thoughts for your courage and your strength and your energy to move on. Thank you, my friend. Ask County Commissioner Donna Rinn to come forward and offer us a reading.
You say you will never forget where you were when you heard the news on September 11th, 2001. I was on the 110th floor in a smoke-filled room with a man who called his wife to say goodbye. He held his fingers steady as he died. I gave him the piece to say, honey, I'm not going to make it. It's okay. I'm ready to go. I was with his wife when he called and she baked breakfast for their children. I held it up. She tried to understand his words, and she realized he wasn't coming back. I was in the stairwell of the 23rd floor when a woman cried out to me for help. I've been knocking on the door of your house for 50 years. I said, of course I will show you the way home. And you believe in me now. I was at the base of the building with a priest ministering to the injured and devastated souls. I took him home to tend to his flock in heaven. He heard my voice and answered. I was in all four of those planes in every seat with every prayer. I was with the crew as they were overtaken. I was in the very hearts of the believers there, comforting and ensuring them that their faith was safe. I was in Texas, Virginia, California, Michigan, Afghanistan. I was standing next to you when you prayed the terrible news. Did you sense it? You don't even know that I saw every face and knew every name while I was you. Some met me for the first time on the 86th floor. Some saw me with their last breath. Some couldn't hear me calling to them through the smoke and the flames. Come to me. This way, take my hand. Some chose for the right hand to turn. But I was there. I did not place you in the power that day. You may not know why, but I did. However, if you were there in that explosive moment of time, would you have reached for me? September 11th, 2001 was not the end of the journey for you. But someday your journey will end, and I will be there for you as well. See me now while I meet time, then at any moment you know you're ready to go. I will be the steerer of the landing lines. Love, Paul.
Thank you, Commissioner. At this time, I'd like you to offer your attention to the center walkway as we do a ceremonial lead parade. My friends, let us dedicate this wreath of remembrance to those who lost their lives 20 years ago, to those who have struggled in the 20 years since, and to offer strength to those who will go on struggling. Let us offer this as a remembrance that our country can come back stronger and greater than ever. And during this time of trial, when we recently lost 13 members of our armed services, let us also dedicate it to their memory. Amen. You may be seated. I'd like to introduce our county manager, Gregory T. Zinzer, who will come up and offer us a reading for today.
Thank you very much, Chaplain Felton, for your work on today's event. When I'm asked to speak at events, I typically don't find myself at a loss of words. Usually they come to me and I'm able to express a situation or discuss a situation. However, I have to say, when I was asked to come up with something for today, I found it very difficult. I found it difficult because I said to myself, how can I possibly, in a short paragraph, couple paragraphs, or a few minutes, capture the essence of what has become 9/11 and its impact on all of us today. In that light, I chose a reading, and as I read this reading, I ask that you contemplate the words that are being spoken, reflect on them, and the meaning in your life that it has today. The author of this is unknown, and the title of this is What a Difference a Day Makes. On Monday, we emailed jokes. On Tuesday, we did not. On Monday, we thought that we were secure. On Tuesday, we learned better. On Monday, we were talking about heroes as being athletes. On Tuesday, we relearned who our heroes are. On Monday, we were irritated that our rebate checks had not arrived. On Tuesday, we gave money away to people we had never met. On Monday, there were people fighting against praying in schools. And on Tuesday, you would have been hard-pressed to find a school where someone was not praying. On Monday, people argued with their kids about picking up their room. On Tuesday, the same people could not get home fast enough to hug those kids. On Monday, people were upset that they had to wait 6 minutes in a fast food drive-through line. On Tuesday, people didn't care about waiting up to 6 hours to get blood for the dying. On Monday, we waved our flags signifying our cultural diversity. On Tuesday, we waved only the American flag. On Monday, there were people trying to separate each other by race, sex, color, and creed. On Tuesday, they were all holding hands. On Monday, we were men or women, black or white, old or young, rich or poor, gay or straight, Christian and non-Christian. On Tuesday, we were all Americans. On Monday, politicians argued about budget surpluses, grief-stricken, and on Tuesday, they sang God Bless America. On Monday, the president was going to Florida to meet the children. And on Tuesday, he returned to Washington to protect our children. On Monday, we had families. On Tuesday, we had orphans. On Monday, people went to work as usual. On Tuesday, they died. It's sadly ironic how it takes horrific events to place things into perspective. But it has, and it will continue to put things into perspective. The lessons learned from that week, the things we have taken for granted, the things that have been forgotten or overlooked, hopefully will never be forgotten again.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. As we prepare to leave this place today, each of you have a flower. As you depart, come forward and place that flower at the base of this wreath to show your solidarity, to show your commitment in some small way to the future of remembrance to this day. Again, I'd like to echo the thanks of Sheriff King for all of the people that made this special day a special day. I'd like to re-recognize David Mary Shane who lost his country, the former British military, and the uniformed service of the members here from the Sheriff's Office, to Emily, to Elias, and to George, who comfort us with the talent of their music. As we leave this place, let us bow our heads and pray for God's blessing. God, we remember that day 20 years ago. We remember that many families, many employees, many communities were shaken to the core. Remember that day 20 years ago as if it were, for many of us, history. remember the moment we first heard the news. We remember the images blazing across our TV screen and our hearts. We remember those we lost. And we remember the heroes. Today, we remember all of this too. That you are in control no matter what happens. Coming together as a people makes us better. Evil never wins in the end. And from what looks like utter destruction, hope can rise again. So we pause, we pray, we believe. We look to the past to honor what's come before. We live now with the strength we didn't know we had until we need it. We face the future with a faith that you are still good. And yes, God, remember, remember. Amen. Service has ended. Go in peace. any participants that were in the service today, if you could meet me at the front of the courthouse, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
You want to come out?